If you see teachers in your school that don't belong there, don't just delete them, but you should WhatsApp them or call them and tell them that you're going to remove them because they don't belong to your school. Because quite a few persons are applying to the wrong school. For some reason, they look for the wrong school names and they apply. So you would need to inform them. I'm seeing someone showing here status 25th of November, 4th of October. So these are persons who would have applied. You need to accept these persons in your school if they belong to your school. So you would click on the gear icon on the right there. I'm not sharing my screen. If you look in the chat, you will see someone, C. Graves, put a picture showing when persons would have applied. You need to click on the gear icon to accept them into the system. All right, please confirm that you can see my screen.
Seeing it.
All right, so I'm currently in Spalding's Primary because I was there last week going through. They have done their setup and they are now ready to add their appraisals. Now, this part is somewhat I wouldn't say tedious, but you need to take care when doing this. So the first thing you would do is go to your main menu area. So I'm just going to click on dashboard because that's where people go to when they're logged in. It takes you to the dashboard off the start. So you can see average observations here. Then you can see standard. Notice this one is empty. Most of your average observations will be empty as well. That will be empty. Lesson plans will have those. So we're not looking at those yet. So what we want to do is we want to import the average observations. These are the appraisals for now. There will be different types of observations or evidence collection documents here. So that's why we did not call it appraisal. We call it average observations based on how the calculations are done. So what you want to do now is import the appraisals. So we're going to go to, sorry, I'll backtrack one little bit. Just to say that if the person's profile is not set up, they will not see the appraisal. So I'm just going to click on my name, my image in the top left here and go to profile. You can manage your user's profile. I am not going to go in this school's person's profile, but there's a video that showed you how to get into the teacher's profile. As the admin, you can modify the person's profile. So the important part is work details. So you need to make sure that the person is at the proper level, which region, and the QEC. This is the date that they started teaching in your school, not when they became a teacher. The date they started teaching in your school. Their level, whether they are a beginning teacher, regular classroom teacher, and you see the list there. Their years of experience. Their work email here is the MOE email, or if the school would have a email, it could go there. However, we recommend that they put the Ministry of Education email here because if they manage to leave that school and go somewhere else, they would not have access to their emails with their communication from Zyqual. So they need to have their ministry email there. Then you would have set up the faculty, so you would know what faculty each person would be in, what department, and all the subjects that they would teach. Here where it says teacher status, if I choose highly effective, for example, and I click on the I, it comes up with a description of who is a highly effective teacher. I would recommend that you put everybody as a highly effective teacher until the appraisals are done and the outcome is given. If they are ineffective, you put that and you click on the I and you can see what it means. But start everybody off on highly effective just to make sure you're not offending anybody. Supervisor is the person who will be their manager or the head of department. Their personal email can go there if they want for now. And then this must be ticked as employed if they are in the school. If they leave the school, you simply uncheck that and put the date when they leave. Do not delete them. So I'm going to put that back. Now, very, very important, the appraisal category must be on everybody's profile. This is what will determine which appraisals the person can see. If the person is a beginning teacher, you then check that they're a beginning teacher. And if they are a regular teacher, you check that they're a regular teacher. This will allow them to be able to see the appraisal, to be able to do it, or to be observed using that appraisal. All right. That's the most important thing. Everything else can stay for now. And this button here is where I will check if the person is Zyqual certified. I will check which schools they have supported as an example so that we are aware of the different schools that you would have supported. This will inform the Jamaica Teaching Council that you are certified and myself. So I will authorize the certification and you'll get that. But you have to help another school in full, not just what some people did. They just said, tell them that you supported me. No, we're not going to do that. We're not cheaters. We are going to know that you supported them and we will find out. All right. So that's the profile. Most important part is the work details. All right. Once the person's profile is set up, they will be able to access the appropriate appraisal. So this is how you import the appraisal from the library. I am now at the main menu area and I'm going to go to average observations. So I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to click on active observations. This means the ones that are within your school. Mostly you will find that yours is blank. There will be none. So over here in the top right, there is a blue button that says add observation from library. Remember, I'm going fast because this is being recorded. So you will have the opportunity to play it back and watch. So to add the observation from the library, I click add observation from library. Then I can see all the different observations or appraisals that are within the Zyqual library. So as an example, I can see beginning teacher performance appraisal as one. I can see the academic year. It's 2024 to 2025. So this is for this academic year. I can see beginning teacher performance appraisal for the academic year 2023 to 2024. So everybody who has a beginning, or if you have beginning teachers in your school, you will add the 2023 to 2024. That is the last year's appraisal. We need that for every teacher so that they can do what we call a self-appraisal, meaning that they will input the grades that they received last year on their appraisal. So if I was a beginning teacher last year, I would need to go and complete this beginning teacher appraisal for the academic year 2023 to 2024. So that means on the person's profile, you're going to tick that they are a beginning teacher. And you can tick 2. And you can also tick that because this year now, they are no longer beginning teacher. You're going to also tick regular teacher or the teacher performance appraisal so that they can have access to both. The reason why we're doing the 2023 version is so that we can achieve getting that data from last year to start building the reports and creating the school reports.
Excuse me, sir, before you go any further,
Yes, go ahead.
what do I do with the teachers who began in September? The first year, it's their first year now.
Yes, beginning teacher.
And they won't have any for last year.
No, they won't have any. So you will not do any for last year for them.
So I will start fresh with 24, 25 then.
For them, yes. And I'm going to show you how we do that. So they will still need to do a self-appraisal. So that's what I'm going to demonstrate. But I'm going through the 2023 version for all different types just so that we can achieve collecting that grade from last year. So persons will go through and input the grades. We're going to do it as self to reduce the workload on the heads of departments and those different persons. They will do it themselves. However, remember as a school admin and the heads of department, they can see it and ask them to change the grades if they have input incorrect grades. And remind them that it's a legal document, so they should complete it accurately.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
Um, is this different from the self-observation that we would have added for 2024 to 2025?
Yes, it is. So the academic year is important. So because we
Uh,
want to collect the data from last academic year, 2023 to 2024, we will then make sure the appraisal is that academic year.
so
Because we
at
will,
the end, we're going to have two sets of self-appraisals. Am I correct?
you will have the one from last year and you will have the one for this academic
This
year.
year. So
Yes,
that's two for each teacher.
right. So
Okay.
there is
All right.
there will actually be three because then there is going to be the real one for 2024 to 2025 that is completed by the principal, the head of department, or the person responsible for
Oh,
completing the appraisal.
okay.
But since we're asking the question, I think I should probably this week, and in interest of time, I should only inform you to do the 2023 appraisal download and get your staff to do that as a self. And then also do, and that would prevent confusion. Someone is saying something.
Right, sir.
Yes.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. For those teachers that were on vacation last year, how do we treat that?
Did they do appraisal?
No, because it would have been 8 months, for example, and they would have resumed May 1st. So there wouldn't be an appraisal for that year. But there would have been one for the previous year, which would have been 2022 to 2023.
I don't want to go back that far. We want to start from 2023 to 2024.
So
Uh,
those teachers would just have for this year then, and
all right,
not for last year.
right. So what's gonna happen is then when we collect when we run the reports, we will identify the teachers who don't have one, and then we will do something that ask why, and then we will know
Okay.
they were on leave, so that will be documented. So we're gonna know how many teachers across the country was on leave, and also think about that though. Once we have that data, we will see this year's appraisal, and we will know there can be a lot of data from that to see how persons being on leave affect them. What if their performance improved over time? Because so recommending that more teachers go on leave as an example. All right,
All
so
right.
back to the point. I was gonna show you how to do all of them. Some people will figure out how to do it because it's quite simple. But I'm thinking just to prevent confusion, should we just stick to downloading the 2023 version for each person only and get them to do that first? Once that is done, then we download the 2024 version and they could start doing that, possibly around January time or the end of December. All right, so I'm thinking that, so let's do it anyway. So this is the beginning teacher performance appraisal, 2023 to 2024. Let me change school so that I am in a school that does not have any appraisals at the moment. L. Lawrence, your hand is up.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. How do we treat teachers who are joining our staff, but they were at another school?
I would request their appraisal from the school that they're coming from.
Thank you so much.
So please make sure that it is requested by yourself or the principal, and the authentic documentation is emailed over or sent through the post or whichever way you guys do it to make sure that it's genuine documentation. All right, so I am in Edwin Allen High School and there is no appraisal at the moment. So notice when I click on average observation and standard, there's none under here, so there's no appraisal. So I'm now going to import the 2023 version of the beginning teacher appraisal. And the 2023 versions of the documents are the same as the 2024 versions. I don't think there has been any changes. So I'm going to go to the main menu. I'm going to click on average observation. and I'm going to click on active observations. Notice that there is none here, it is empty. So I'm going to click on add observation from library right here. And I'm looking for, if you had beginning teachers from last year, I'm looking for the beginning teacher appraisal 2023 to 2024. I'm going to click on the gear icon over here on the right, click on that, and then I'm going to click add to survey. Important. Notice the academic year is here. Do not change that, please. Leave it as 2023 to 2024. Beginning teacher performance appraisal, and you check it as self. This will mean that the staff will be able to log in and do it themselves by putting in the grades. And comment bank, this means that if the sample that we have here, there are descriptors or comments, you can import those. I will show you what those mean in a minute. But just for now, I'm going to click those just to see what it looks like if there is any. If there is no comments, if there is no descriptors, it will just be blank. Notice it says some message here, so I'm going to click read more. This is just some information to tell you that each school is responsible for doing their own descriptor. The descriptor is information that tells the teacher what they will need to do under each GP to achieve the credits. I'm going to click Save Changes. It then comes up self-observation. I am going to allow the observee to comment. I want to limit this because I don't want them to do it more than once. But seeing that the staff is new, I'm going to put it to 2. So if they make a mistake or something, they can do it twice. I am going to change this to national because that data must be sent to the Jamaica Teaching Council once they are finished. You will not see that. And this is the beginning teacher performance appraisal and the academic year. Scroll down. You do not need to make any changes to up here. Where it says descriptors here, if your school have your own descriptors, or you don't necessarily have to put them for this for 2022 to 2023. We are more interested in the grades, but if you want, you can click the gear icon, the spanner here, and click edit. And then down here where it says descriptors, this is where you would put your descriptor. This is a description of what the teachers will need to do to achieve the credits. And then you would save. However, please keep in mind that for this academic year, 2022 to 2023 to 2024, you do not need to update the descriptors. So I'm going to scroll down and click save and exit. Now you can see it here, and it is a self-observation. Staff can do it themselves. And if this school will have any staff, another precaution you can take to make sure that the right persons. Pardon? Another precaution you can take to make sure that the teachers are actually linked is over here on the right where you see the action icon. You click on it and you click user mapping. I'm not sure if there's any teachers in the school, so I'm just going to click filter. There's only one person who is the admin. Let's say you had 50 people here. You would only select the beginning teachers because they are the persons who are going to be doing this self-observation. And you click save. Because it is self, you also have to list them as the observee. So the observer are the persons who will carry out the observation, but because it is self, you list them, all the beginning teachers, as observer. And observee, you list the same people because itself as the observee. So you would list Philip again and all the different new teachers or beginning teachers. All right. Any questions here before I move on to the next part?
Sir, could you go back and check, go back on where you select them as observee, please?
All right, so you got to the point where we added this to the school library, school list. So this is the beginning teacher performance appraisal here. If you don't remember how to get here, I'll just go straight back to the beginning. We go to average observations and we click active observations. Notice that this one is here. It was empty before, but we had clicked on the library and added it. Oh, and I missed one important thing as well. I'm just going to edit to show you what I missed. I'm going to click edit. And notice the start date is today and it ends next month. For this particular one, you want your staff to complete it as quickly as possible. So you can set it for a month or two or a week. But you need to give your staff a deadline to complete it by so that we can get it, the data. So today is the 28th of November. So I would want them to complete that before the December holiday. So you need to communicate that. You need to get your staff on and you need to get them to do it. All right. So you can set or change the date here. Let's say I want it to end 31st of January. This will become inactive and the staff will no longer be able to do it after that date. So think about that with enough time for your staff to complete it. And it will then disappear from their screen. So I'm going to leave that as, let me put it at February 1st or 3rd. Go down and I save and exit. So I'm back here. Now I'm going to link the teachers so that they can do the appraisal themselves as being an observer and an observee. So I'm going to click on the gear icon over here where it says action, and I'm going to click on user mapping. This part is used to determine who can be an observer. A regular teacher who's not head of department or not taking part in an appraisal can't be an observer. The observer are the heads of department, the principal, the VPs, those persons who are in charge of carrying out appraisals. But because this is a self, the person will have to observe themselves and act as the observer and also the observee. So I am now going to map the observers. So I'm going to click filter. And I would then go, because this is a beginning teacher appraisal, I would go through my listing of 100 teacher, 50 teacher, 10 teachers, however many they are, and select my beginning teachers. And then click save. That's the observer mapping. Then I'm going to do the observee. The observee means that all the teachers who can be observed using this appraisal. But because it is self, I'm just going to choose the same persons because they're going to do it themselves. And I would choose my beginning teachers again and click save.
So we shouldn't change anything in the role and the faculty and stuff for itself.
If the school is really big and like there's 100 and enough people, and you know that you want to just find a teacher, not a head of department or so, you can just select, say, teacher here and filter. Nobody comes up because there's no teacher in this school yet. Yours would populate and show the teachers. What if you just want to find your VP? Let's say I have 4 VP. I don't want to search through that big list that will come up if you just click filter. You can select VP and it will filter and give you just the VPs. What if you just want to find, you know that the person you're looking for out of 200 people is a teacher and is in the TVET faculty. You can filter it like that and then click filter and find that person. So you can reduce your list by doing the filtering there. However, if the school is not that big, you don't need to go through the faculty department and stuff to narrow it down. You just simply click filter and you will see your 20 people or your 8 people or however many persons they are in your school. and you can just select the ones who are appropriate for that purpose. All right, let me just select Philip here and click save. So Philip is now an observer, and I'm gonna click on observee, and I'm gonna click filter again, and I'm gonna select him as an observee. He's now there on the list. Oh no, I made a mistake. He's not a beginning teacher. I'm gonna click on the bucket to remove him. I don't want him to be on there. And he's now on the observee list. I'm gonna remove him from there. So he's no longer there. So you can add people by mistake and remove them. Not that you should make mistakes, but if you do, that's how you delete them. And that's how you would add it to the dashboard. So when they go back to the dashboard, all the persons who are a beginning teacher will now be able to see that appraisal and be able to complete it. Checking if my
Sir,
internet is working.
I'm asking because I just want to make sure. So, the teachers who would have started this September, they would not be completing that particular self-observation, but the one for 2024 to 2025. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay. And should we, all right, I'll wait until I get there.
No, just ask. Just ask. So I can.
I was going to ask if we should disable, given that it's the first time the teachers will be going on the platform, if we should just disable the self-observation for 2024 to 2025 and have them just do the 2023 to 2024
Correct.
for the time.
Correct.
Oh.
So I would only make available what they should do, because if you tell them 2023 to 2024, so notice when I click on here, the academic year is here. Believe me, 50% of your staff is gonna do the wrong one. So you can disable. So let's go over here. Average observation active. And you can disable it. So if you disable it, if I go back to the dashboard, the staff should not be able to see it to make the mistake to go and do it. It's gone. Notice it's gone. When you're ready for them to do it, you go back to the dashboard, average observation, active observations, and you enable it. And then you inform them, and then they can go and do it. So this is how they do it. Click on it, they will be able to see, and it says self, but that means they will do it themselves. Nobody can do it for them. They can click on the start button. They can click on the name of the thing to open it. Because I am not in this school, my name does not appear here, but their name will appear there. They will have to fill in the details that the ministry would want, such as which faculty they're in, which department, which subject, which class, all of those things. And then down here, they will look at the information here. This is the same exact information that is on the paper version. And if you had put your descriptors here that describes what they need to do to achieve that 7, they will be able to see it. But because this is simply them putting in the grades that they received last year. So if somebody got a 5, they put a 5. In the comment box, they just simply put a full stop to hold the space because it will not accept it blank. They go down and they continue to put the grades in that they would have received. This person got 4. Out of the 7, this person got 1. Out of the 5, this person got 5 or 4, and so on. And they fill it in. Once they get to the end, they can put a final remarks if they want and click save and complete. They should only click save and complete once it's done in its entirety. They can click, if they are not finished, they can click continue later. This is how they go back to it. So when they click continue later, it will be saved in the pending observations library. They can go back and find it there. So they click continue later. The system takes them back to the dashboard. When they're on the dashboard, they want to get to to go back and continue working, they go back to the main menu area, they click on average observations, and they look for pending observations. And that will show them the observation that they just saved. They click on the open icon to open it and continue working. If they're still not finished, they click continue as many times as they want and go back to it as many times as they want within the time that it is active. And once they're finished, they click save and complete, like I showed you earlier. And that's it for that observation. So you're adding beginning teacher. As an example, if you have beginning teachers in your school, you are going to add principal. So that's for last year, 2023 to 2024. So the principal can do his or hers. Regular teacher performance appraisal, you're adding this one for 2023, 2024. Remember, they are self. So when I click add to survey, comes up, make sure you check self in this instance. We're just adding self for this week until your staff gets it done. And you can click these to see what's there. If not, you can just click save changes. And you add in the VP for program, VP for admin, teacher with special responsibilities. These are your heads of departments. And you're adding only those because those are the ones that we have. So we have beginning teacher, principal, regular teacher, VP admin, VP program, and teacher with special responsibilities. Those are your heads of departments and so on. And you add those. When they log in and get access, they simply go to their dashboard after you've done the mapping and everything. They will be able to see it here. They can click on it, fill in their details at the top, and get it done. Right, so I'll stop there. And for those of you who are quite quick, the observations from last year is the same. There has not been any changes. You could simply add, say, this one, beginning teacher. And you can update the academic year. If there is changes, you will not be able to update the academic year. But for now, there is no changes. So keep that. You can update the academic year for that one. And you would do it as self. So there's going to be a self. And there's going to also be another one. Don't change the name or anything. That's not going to be a self. We're not looking at that yet. We're just trying to get you to do the self first. Then we will show you how to conduct the appraisal itself. There's a different process from this. And if you master that part, then we come back and we show you how your principal and the different persons who run the appraisal can do it. We do it in a specific way on here so that all the persons who are involved in the appraisal name will appear on the appraisal. If you do not follow that procedure, then their names will not appear on there. And that can cause an issue. So I will do another session that I will show you how and we will have a full school demonstrating how to do it, because quite a few persons would have to be involved because not one person can do the appraisal. So the principal alone can't do it. The principal would need to join with other persons to get it done. All right, so I'll stop there. We have like 10 minutes left. Any questions? Any questions? Just to double check, is everybody here in the WhatsApp group?
Yes, sir.
And if you're in the WhatsApp group, you can ask questions. And if you know the answers, please feel free to support another person. All right.
Okay.
Sir, I don't think everyone here would be in the WhatsApp group unless, what about the teachers that would have been invited, as in the heads of departments?
Seriously?
The heads of departments. Get everybody in your school, and then I will need to do a session with the heads of departments. Because remember, the heads of department are not, can you mute your mics, please? Mr. Brown, can you mute your mic? All right, so the heads of departments, if you are a head of department, I will need to do a 1 hour session with you to show you how to do lesson observations as well as appraisals. And most important, how to read the reports. It will be a recorded session. So, but you will need to be there because you'll be doing something in your own school. So that should be like an hour and 15 minutes to show your heads of departments how to do lesson observations. And since we are here, I could quickly show you what is coming for lesson observations. Each school will have their own learning walk, lesson observations. As admin, you can create those on the platform, or you can use the ones that we have. These ones that are currently here are created by
Okay, all right.
Mr. Brown. You're opening your mic.
I have a question here, Mr. Pennycook. May I ask?
Yes, go ahead.
In the demonstration for the beginning teacher, I believe you use only one teacher, right? A situation where you had one beginning teacher.
Right.
I'm not sure if you showed where we have a number of teachers belonging to more than one faculty or department, how we assigned them. I don't remember if you went through that.
This school that I'm using only have one person in. So because this is live, I don't want to put up person's real names.
Right.
But let me just jump back in there really quick. If I click user mapping, so this is the section you're talking. And let's say there are 100 teachers in this school. However, when I click on it, you will only see one because there's just one person in this school. So when I click on filter over here, filter,
Yes.
I can see Philip Williams, just one person.
Right.
If there were 100 people here, because I am mapping only beginning teachers, I would just go through and check the ones that are beginning teachers.
Beginning, right.
Right. Now, so when I click save, only the beginning teachers will be down here as the observer and as the observee when I do that.
Right.
Now, if I want to be more precise and I know the persons who I'm mapping, let's say teachers with special responsibilities, those persons in the system are logged as HODs, right?
Right.
So I would check.
Yes,
I would check HOD there because I know that all my HODs are mapped as HOD as a role. So I can check that. Notice it's checked on a role, and I can now click filter, and it will bring up every HOD. Because if this appraisal was for teacher with special responsibility, I would not need to go through 100 people to try to find which one is which one is HOD. Because the system is already configured, I would check HOD and do a filter, and it would bring up all HOD names, and I could just select all of them.
Right.
If I am doing a evidence collection for not HODs, but persons in the sciences faculty, because their profiles are already updated, I could check that and then just filter and find them. So this is
so that's how you use that line, because I was just trying to figure out how to use the line with the role faculty.
Right, that's how you use it. So let's say I want persons from the sciences faculty, and in the sciences faculty we have departments. We have biology, physics, and chemistry. I can then go ahead and select just biology because I only want the biology teachers to use that if that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
But for the appraisal, it is the general population based on the title of the appraisal.
Right. So if it's all regular teachers, then
I would just select teacher.
Select teacher. Okay.
And
all right. Thanks.
So the heads of departments would not be in that listing for me to make a mistake.
Okay. All right. Thanks, man.
Right. All right. So I was about to show you in the next few minutes quickly lesson observations. And you can import these in a school and look at them. So I'm going to go to standard observations, active, and there's none in this school. So if they click on new, they can create their own. We will have demonstration how to do that. For now, we can go to the library. So I'm going to click add observation from library. And there are quite a few here, like department routines. And what I'm interested in is these 6 here. So we have lesson planning, instructional competence delivery, classroom management, communication skills, professionalism, reflection, and practice. I'm gonna go for an example like lesson planning. So I'm gonna add it. Lesson planning. Click on the gear icon. Click add survey. I want it to run for, notice this runs for the full year. So I might need to put it to back to August 31st as an example. It is not self, or I can make it self if I want. And student voice is when you start adding students, students can actually give feedback to teachers. And then if you're using students to give feedback, you check anonymous, so the teacher does not know which student is giving the feedback. You know, there can be issues. You can save it as national or local. Local, if it stays in the school, national, the data will be available for the education officers and the Ministry of Education. You can limit it to say what each staff can only do it, can only be done once, 3 times, 4 times. Because some schools have policies, they observe the teachers maybe 3 times for the academic year. But I would normally leave it. I don't put a limit on it that it can be done many times because you don't know what the outcome would be and how many times you might need to use it for a particular teacher. These you can leave them out. Then we go down and we can look through to see what is there. So in this lesson planning observation, they're looking at the objectives that are in the plan. You can see some explanation of what is being looked for and what the observer should look for when they're observing. I'm just going to click save and show you what it looks like on the front end. So I save it twice and it's then added to the school. I'm going to go back to the dashboard. Under standard observation, we can see lesson planning there. It has 8 indicators or 8 things we're looking at. It has the purpose there, and it has when the active dates is. And I click on lesson planning here to start it. I can select somebody to observe on the Philip policies in the school, so I'm going to observe him. His details is not yet completed, so I would not be able to finish it. So his profile would need to be completed, and the school would have to be set up in order for me to successfully do it. So that is set up. No subjects is there yet. No faculty. All right, so down here, you'll be able to see when the person is doing the observation, they're looking at if the lesson objectives are there in the plan, and it explains what exactly they should be looking for, and so on. They can then assign a grade based on what they see. So let's say we give this person a good. We can then add comments that reflects why that person got good and not outstanding. I am working on predefined comments. If I can find it. As an example, this one. So you will get predefined comments that helps speed up the process. So for example, this is the descriptor we were looking at a while ago. If the person gets outstanding on the system, there will be an example comment. Remember, example. The persons can add it from the library and modify it to suit their view. So these are just going to be example comments that are there that they can add. Some people just add it just as is, but it is recommended that they update it to reflect exactly what they would have seen. If the person is getting good, an example of a good feedback in relation to what is being observed, if they get requires improvement. So you will see, so I'm working on these at the moment, and I will add them to the library that they are allowed for you to see when persons are observing what they can do. So that's this button over here will be the comment bank. When they click on it, the comments will appear. But for them to choose which one based on the grades that they would have given. So that's lesson observation for you. We will do another training on that as well. But for this session, I will now upload the video to YouTube and send the link into the WhatsApp group for you to review and add the self-appraisals for last year to your school. When your staff join, you make sure their profile is completed and then show them how to do the self-appraisal. And that's it for today. We went 2 minutes over. But just before closing, do we have any questions?
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Penny. I have not seen any for master teacher. I've seen the rest of them, but not know.
Right. I will do, thanks for reminding me. I will add that because we do have a master teacher appraisal. I will add that to the library.
Right, thank you.
So by tomorrow, you should be able to see master teacher as well.
Sir, will we be getting any for guidance counselors?
Every time I ask, the Jamaica Teaching Council said that it is in progress. It's working on, and I don't have one. I think someone told me that they had one last time and they didn't send it to me as they promised. So if you are here and you have a guidance counselor, dean of discipline appraisal, I would appreciate getting it so we can put it on the platform.
Okay.
Sir, an old problem. We're still having difficulties adding one teacher to the platform because the password they have is not working, and we are having challenges resetting the password.
When you click reset, what happens?
Well, I'm not the one that was doing the reset myself, but the admin that was doing it, she's having trouble joining. I would have to find out from her and then send you an email.
All right, send me an email and also contact me directly on WhatsApp so that I can sort
Okay,
it.
Mr. Penny.
Please do so tomorrow because tomorrow I have about an hour free. I can get it done.
All right.
Sir,
Yes, go ahead.
sorry, could you do a refresher how to add the admin?
How to add the admin to the school?
Yeah, how to add another admin, because I didn't get that one.
All right, so you would go on to masters, users and roles, manage users. If the person registered to join the school, you click new registrations. If the person is already in the school, you simply click teachers. I'm not going to go in a new registration because this is a live account. I will show all the teachers across the country. Don't want that in the recording. I'm sure Mr. Philip doesn't mind here because there's no personal details other than this here. All right, so I'm going to click on, now that I find the person I want to add as admin, I click on the green pencil. And here is where I choose the role that the person will get. So you just simply tick admin and save. Once you save it, their role will be updated and you'll be able to see what role they have. And you ask them to log in. When they log in, they will have admin privilege. Remember, the principal and the person running the school must agree that these persons must be admin. Because when they are admin, they will have access to all teachers' details. And that must be approved and known. Thanks. Anna K, your hand is up.
Yes, sir. Good evening. Could you explain to me what's an open source? I'm having a bit of an issue. One of the teachers indicated that she's not putting any of her details on an open source, and it seems as if others, I don't know if they understand yes or no, but they are saying this that, well, they're not doing it. So I don't know what to explain. So could you explain what an open source is, and is Zyqual considered an open source?
I think open source in terms of applications or software is when the software is available online for anybody to copy and use the codes. But if I think about what they're talking about, they're probably concerned that their data is going to the Ministry of Education, who is their employer. Zyqual is not affiliated with any third party or any other companies apart from the Ministry of Education and the Jamaica Teaching Council. So the data here belongs to the Jamaica Teaching Council and the Ministry of Education. It is not accessed by anyone else apart from them. And they would also already have some of those data on paper base. So it's a way for them to have it digital so that they can communicate and receive the appraisal information, which is compulsory. So they would need to do the appraisal. And this is the way to do the appraisal. So they could be putting themselves in a bit of trouble by refusing to cooperate with their employer and what their employer would require for them or of them to do to provide them the information necessary to, know what they are doing as an employee. So I think if they're talking about Data Protection Act and Computer Misuse Act, and they're talking about their data being online, their data is already online, and we can find them. But them putting their information on Zyqual is encrypted, data encrypted at rest. We follow the strictest policies under the Data Protection Act to ensure that the data is secure. We would have gone through government vetting in order to be able to achieve doing this. So it is safe as any other safe operation. However, we can be hacked just like any other company or institution, but we update our software and our policies as our codes as often as we can to alleviate persons hacking or stealing the data. We are not, if you notice, they hack anybody, but we are currently not in anybody's target. And if we do, we have the strictest policies we follow to ensure that the data is as secure as possible. Other than that, if they continue to refuse, I guess at some point the ministry will write to them whenever their appraisal information is not being sent over. And there would probably be some form of consequence in that regard. I'm not sure yet, but I think it's getting to the point where the ministry will only accept the appraisal in this format because that's what is needed. And as an employee, they will have no choice but to comply or find out. Well, let me not say. The ministry will deal with that, or the education officers, when that time comes.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. All right, any other quick questions?
When will this recording be shared? This evening?
It will be shared this evening, so I'm going to end the recording now. And then once it's finished processing, I will upload it to YouTube and share it in the